Amen. My task is very easy. I've been on this young man for a long time now. We preached in revival together a couple years ago over in Raleigh area. He's a very nice guy. He's a fine youth pastor over at King Solomon Church, where he served with his pastor Van Ford Sr. Amen. You all are in for a treat tonight, this afternoon. Point your fingers at Smith and say, Smith, preach, sir.
Preach, sir.
Oh, y'all can do better than my friend coming up here. Say, Smith, preach, sir.
Preach, sir.
Amen.
Amen.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Y'all can do better than that. Let the church say amen again.
Amen.
What a mighty God we serve, that the angels bow before him. Heaven and earth, they do adore him. It is indeed good to be in the house of God. Just one more time.
Yes. Amen.
Quickly, I won't be long, no matter how long it takes me. Can we clap our hands for this youth choir? We did an awesome job.
Amen.
Giving on to the pastor, can we celebrate him?
Amen.
Also, to all these other preachers, deacons, nurses, and mothers, it is indeed good to be in the house of God. Just one more time. To my very own uncle that's sitting in the back, Mr. Stanley Yates. Could you clap for him? And to Miss Gwen and my two kids, not my two kids, but I beat them like they're my two kids. Can we clap for them? Acts the 27th chapter. Acts the 27th chapter. When you cry, would you stand to honor the word of God? Acts the 27th chapter. Acts the 27th chapter. Acts the 27th chapter. Give her a moment. Acts 27th chapter. I'm going to start at verse 23. Acts the 27th chapter, starting at verse 23. And it says, last night an angel of God, I'm reading from the New International Version. Last night an angel of God, whose I am and whose I serve, stood beside me and said, do not be afraid, Paul. You must stand trial before Caesar, and God has graciously given you the lives of all who will sail with you. Verse 30. In an attempt to escape from the ship, the sailors left the lifeboat down into the sea, pretending they were going to lower some anchors from the boat. Verse 33. Just before dawn, Paul urged them all to eat for the last 14 days. He said, you have been in suspense and have gone without food. You haven't eaten anything. Now I urge you to take some food. You will need it to survive. Not one of you will lose a single hair from your head. Verse 38. When they had eaten as much as they wanted to, they lightened the ship by throwing the grain into the sea. Verse 40. Cutting loose some anchors, they left the sea. They left them in the sea, and at the same time untied the ropes that held the runners. Verse 41, the last sentence. And the stern was broken to pieces by the pounding of the surf. Verse 44. The rest were to get their own planks or own pieces of the ship. And that in this way everyone reached land safely. Chapter 28. Once safely on shore, we found out that the island was called Malta. The islanders showed us unusual kindness. They built a fire and welcomed us all because it was raining and cold. Paul gathered a pile of brushwood, which in other words means stick. And as he put it on the fire, vapor, which means snake, driven out by the hand, fastened itself on his hand. When the islanders saw the snake hanging from his hand, they said to each other, "This man must be a murderer, for though he has escaped from sea, justice has not allowed him to live." But Paul shook off the snake into the fire and suffered no ill effect. The people expected him to swell up or suddenly fall dead. But after waiting a long time and seeing nothing unusual happen to him, they changed their minds and said he was a god. I want to preach for a second that we can make it through this. We can make it through this. Now, how this works this afternoon is, if you say amen, I won't preach long. But the moment you get quiet, I'll take my time. Amen? Amen. Amen. So the kids want to go outside, play games, play ball, shoot some hoops, you know. So if you can just say amen, I might can speed up a little bit. Can we say amen? Amen. All right. So the story, I have to break this down completely. The story talks about a storm. And brothers and sisters, all of us are going through a storm, whether it be the school teachers, whether it be the grades, whether it be, life challenges, whether it be our parents, whether it be our kin folks, whether it be our cousins, our aunties, our mothers, and our friends. We're all facing with a storm some type of way. And the truth of the matter is that even though we don't look like what we're going through, it does not mean we're not going through something. It's just God knows how to work in a mysterious way to make something that looks so bad look so good. So, brothers and sisters, the text talks about Paul was in a storm, and before the storm even came, an angel came to Paul and said, "Listen, Paul, don't you worry about a thing that you're going through. You're going to survive through what you're dealing with." Brothers and sisters, I need you to understand that kids, when your parents tell you to do something a certain way, when your friends tell you to do something a certain way, when the school teacher tell you to do something a certain way, they're not trying to tell you something to bend you or to break you. They're trying to tell you something to help you through something you're getting ready to go through that's up here down the road that you can't even see. Brothers and sisters, you got to understand that sometimes it's people in our lives that can see things that we can't see things. And just because they try to correct us doesn't mean they think they're so good, doesn't mean that they're so perfect and they're so upright. It just means they're trying to block us from getting into something that we won't know how to get ourselves out of. I'm preaching to the children today. So, brothers and sisters, we got to understand that just because somebody say something to us, not to take it and lash out on them, or not to take it and get an attitude from it, but to take it into consideration that they're trying to help me from where I am right now. And if I don't listen to what they're saying, I might be on the journey down the wrong road. So, help me, Uncle Sam. So, the text says that the angel came to Paul and said, "Paul, don't you worry about what you're getting ready to go through. Just know you can make it." And brothers and sisters, the only way that Paul can make it is, number one, he has to listen to the voice. Brothers and sisters, in life, you got to listen to the voice whether you feel like it or not, because sometimes that voice can help you from a door that's cracked open, waiting for you to step in, that's going to get you into some stuff, that's going to get you into some trouble that you can't get yourself out of. You got to be careful of the cracked doors. Just because it's cracked doesn't mean you should walk in every door. Because sometimes there's the enemy waiting on you to step in so he can grab you at that moment and take advantage of you. Just because all your friends are doing wrong doesn't mean you walk into the door and you do wrong too. Just because your friends and classmates acting a fool in class don't mean you act a fool in class. Ain't all right, come on. So, the text says that the angel said, "Paul, listen, don't be afraid about what you're getting ready to go you're getting ready to face. Brothers and sisters, boys and girls, I want to tell you, don't worry about what you're going to face with. Just know if you got God on your side, you can make it through what others didn't make it through.
You can make it.
Okay, so the text says, Mama, that some of the people that was on the boat with Paul, they said they had his back, they said we'll ride or die with you. While they was on the ship, and the storm came, the same friends that said they had his back, when he turned around, they was trying to escape. Y'all didn't know this was in the Bible. So, the same people that said we got your back, that said, bro, if you get ready to go through anything, you can count on us. But when the storm came, it looks like that everybody that said they had his back was ready to escape the ship. Brothers and sisters, I need you to understand. My grandma would tell me this all the time. That everybody that say they're your friends, not really your friends.
Right.
Everybody that say they got your back, really sometimes don't have your back. The OJ said it best, people will always smile in your face, but turn around and often want to take your place. They call them the back. Sounds like somebody been listening to 103.5. So, the people that was on the ship, first Paul come to them and say, hey, listen, neither one of y'all go crazy. We can make it through what we're getting ready to go through. But then all of a sudden, when he turned his back, the people that he thought had his back were no longer behind his back, so he had to cover for his own self. And he said, brothers and sisters, unless you learn how to stick with me through this storm, then you won't be able to make it through. Brothers and sisters, unless you learn how to respect your teachers and do your homework and do your assignments, you won't make it to the next grade. So the same is applicable to here. He was saying, listen, unless you listen to what God have already taught me, or what God already told me, then you can't make it out this storm if you don't stay in this ship with me. So a lot of times in our storms, in our trials, in our tribulations, we get discouraged just because we don't know how to do the work. Just because we don't understand what the teacher is saying. Just because we don't understand what the preacher is saying. But you have to sometimes learn how to go to that person and say, listen, I need help with what I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with going to someone and saying, what I'm doing, I don't understand, I need help. And I'm right, keep on saying. So you got to learn how to oftentimes go to those who you know can help you through what you're going through. So Paul said, listen, not one of you will lose a single hair from your head. You all will survive. Now I need you to take something to eat. And so many times that when we go through things, we get to pulling out our hair and picking at our brain and taking off our clothes because we don't know how to make it. But brothers and sisters, I just want to encourage you and let you know that you can make it through whatever you're going through, long as that you hear the voice that's trying to tell you to keep going when ain't nobody else pushing you. So, the text says when they had eaten as much as they wanted to, they lightened the ship by throwing some things in the sea. Not only did they do that, but verse 4 says they had to cut loose some anchors and at the same time untie the ropes that held the ropes. Which brings me to my next point. That a lot of times in your storms, it's certain folks that you got to cut off, and it's certain people that you got to throw out. A lot of times when going through your storm, it's certain people you have to cut off, and there's a lot of people that you have to throw out. Just because I cut you off don't mean I can't fool with you. It just means I'm trying to get somewhere and you dragging me down from the destination that I'm trying to get to. And if I allow you to pull on me when I'm trying to pull forward, then I can't make it out of my storm. But you got to understand, you got to cut some people off and you got to throw some people out. Just because you cut them out, just because you throw them out, does not mean you're showing that you're better than them. It's just showing you trying to make a better decision than what you're in right now. So I'll go slow. So the text says that after Paul threw some things off, after he cut some things off.
Right.
Then they decided to keep going through the storm.
Yeah.
And while going through the storm, Reverend Flowers, the ship hit a big sandbar, which in other words means the ship hit a big rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people that was on the ship with Paul started going crazy and saying, Paul, I thought you said you had my back. I thought you said that God got us.
Yeah.
You done told us what the angel of the Lord said.
Yeah.
You done had us to eat and throw some things away because you said we're going to survive.
Yeah.
Now we in something that it looks like we can't get out of.
Yeah.
But the text simply says that the only thing Paul did was told the people, wait a minute, I understand it looks like we can't make it out of this.
Yeah.
But for those of you that can swim, go ahead and swim. But for those of you that can't swim, take a piece of this ship because God will simply take you in on broken pieces.
All right now.
So what are you saying?
Yeah.
Even though it looked like I couldn't make it,
Yeah.
even though the bad friends caused me all type of hell,
Yeah.
I can take the piece of life that I still got inside of me and I can make it to the other side of what God has before me.
All right.
So, the text says that he told them, he said, listen, for those of you that can swim, go ahead and swim. For those of you that can't swim, take a piece of the ship because God will take you in on broken pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm reminded, I went to the Social Security office not to get a Social Security check, but to get a Social Security card.
Right.
Once I got there, the security officer told me, he said, excuse me, son, you're going to have to go to this machine.
Right.
You're going to input your information.
Right.
And once you input your information, it's going to print you out this ticket. So I said, okay. Put it into this machine, put in this information. And so all of a sudden, when I got in line, the line was slowly moving. It looked like there was a lot of people before me. It looked like there was a lot of people behind me. I got impatient. And a lot of times, we have to be careful how to tell somebody else how to run their life before we learn how to fix our own life. So my problem is, I'm impatient sometimes. When I want something, I want it right then and there. Am I talking about myself? A lot of times we want stuff, we want it right then and there. We want a car, we go get it. We want a house, we go get it. I don't want to wait on my credit to get fixed. I don't want to put no earnest money up. I want it right then and there.
That's right.
So while I was in line, Pastor, I got a little frustrated, and I started singing gospel songs. I started singing R&B songs. Started singing rap songs. Break it up, break it down, back it up. So while I was there, I was trying to do something that could get my mind off the place I was at.
Right.
The lady behind me, I said, excuse me, ma'am, you can take my ticket. I don't need it. I'll just get out of line and I'll go elsewhere.
Yeah.
She said, son, just because you're not in the front of the line, just because you're not in the back of the line, it does not simply mean you're not next in line. So I said, okay, this lady want to be churchy. I'm in the Social Security office. I'm trying to be a thug. So while I was waiting, I got more impatient. Looks like the people that was working behind the machine was taking their precious, good, loving time.
Right.
It looks like the people that was working behind the booth was taking their precious time, and I had a place to be.
Yeah.
So I started singing songs that could get my mind off the place I was in. I said, ma'am, excuse me, I don't mean no harm, but you can take my ticket, and I can go back and get in the car and restart my day.
Yeah.
She said, son, just because you're not in the front of the line, you're not in the back of the line, it does not mean you're not next in line.
That's right.
So after waiting a while, I decided to go get in the car. Once I got in the car, I sat there about 5-10 minutes replaying my day.
Right.
So, Pastor, all of a sudden, the same lady that was behind me came outside to look for me.
Yeah.
I said, ma'am, I'm over here. She said, excuse me, son.
Right.
She said, they just called your number.
Right.
I said, what do you mean? She said, what is your number? I told her my number. She said, yeah, they just called it. And they called mine too.
Yeah.
And she said, what I was trying to tell you was, just because not in the front of the line and you're not in the back of the line, it does not mean you're not next in line. I want to tell about 3 people that's been seeing other people get blessed before them, other people get blessed behind them, that just because you don't see your number, you don't hear your number being called, it does not mean you're not next in line. Because if God bless your neighbor, if he bless your enemy that's behind you, that should tell you something, that you're next in line for a miracle. Because if he's in the neighborhood, that means I'm next.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
So, she said another thing. She said the reason why I couldn't take your ticket is because you went to the machine, you input your name, you input your social security number. So if I would have got your ticket, what you need would have never been beneficial for me, and what I need would never been beneficial for me. I said, what are you trying to say? She said, in other words, if your name is on it, you ain't got to worry about who's in front of you, you ain't got to worry about who's behind you, because it's got your name on it. Preaching like I'm in Joel Osteen.
It's close.
All right.
It's close. So, the text says, I got 5 more minutes, just say amen. Amen. So the text says that once Paul made it out of the storm, they made it to the other land called Malta. Pastor, the text says, the islanders showed them unusual kindness. Paul decided to get a pile of sticks to help kindle a fire that they already started. Once he grabbed the sticks, by it being raining, by it being cold, once he got to the fire, he noticed that he didn't grab a stick. It turned out to be a snake. So, brothers and sisters, it's a lot of us that had Paul mentality. We thought we had the best friend. We thought we had the best relationship. We thought we had the best co-worker, the best boss, the best family member. But once we got to the fire, we noticed that that Negro wasn't a stick. It turned out to be a snake.
All right.
So, the people that was around Paul, I didn't expect to sweat this hard, expected him to swell up or suddenly fall dead. The people that's at your job waiting on you to quit. Your family waiting on you to give up. Your friends waiting on you to make the wrong turn. But after waiting a long time and seeing nothing happen to him, they changed their minds and said he wasn't God. In other words, there are people waiting on you to fall. There are people that's waiting on you to give up. But after waiting a long time, they're going to notice that you got somebody who will hold your hand when you feel like giving up. Thank you, Mom. So, the text says,
Right.
the text says,
What's the text say? What's the
the
text say?
text says that after Paul picked up the sticks, and once he got to the fire, he noticed it wasn't a stick, it turned out to be a snake. After you was in a bad relationship, you was in a bad marriage, you was had bad siblings, had a bad mama, had a bad grandfather. After you noticed that things started getting heated in your life, that the people that you counted on, you couldn't count on no more. It's people that's around you that's waiting on you to give up. But Paul had this one thing that he did that was so remarkable. I like that word, remarkable. After he got to the fight, and everybody seen the snake hanging off his arm, Paul had the audacity to shake off what they thought was going to kill him. Paul had the audacity to shake off what they thought was supposed to kill him. Brothers and sisters, there's people waiting on you to fall. There's friends waiting on you to give up. There's family members throwing their knife in your back. But I dare you to have the strength like Paul and to shake off what they think about you, to shake off how they feel about you, to shake off how they treat you, done. I done finished. Just came in. So, the whole story of the matter is that, brothers and sisters, no matter what you're going through, you can make it through. Whether it's people depending on you or not, in this season of your life, you got to learn how to depend on God and nobody but yourself. So, I remember Kirby High School about a couple of years back.
How many?
Couple of years. I was in this weightlifting class.
Long time.
It might not look like it,
They don't.
but if I take off this shirt, I got something there.
Hey, God,
Hey,
good.
push me, sister. Make me do this. So I was in this weightlifting class,
Hey, God,
and the
good.
coach said, "All right, Alvin, it's your turn." I was sweating. And he said, "All right, Alvin, what I want you to do is lay back. I want you to lift these weights." The women was around. I still believe light skin is still in style. No offense, Pastor. Flowers. Light skin is still in style. So he said, "All right, Alvin." The women was around. I said, "Okay, all right, I can handle it." So he put 10 on one side, 10 on the other. And once I started lifting, maximize that, I could do that. Then all of a sudden he said, "Okay, since it looks like you can handle that, what I want to do is, I want to put 20 on this side, 20 on that side." He said, "Okay, I can handle that." So, Pastor, when I laid down and I began to pick up the weight, my knees began to knock. Sweat started coming down my face.
Right.
Tears started coming down my eyes.
All right.
I ain't weak now, don't push me. So, as I lay down, trying to do this weight thing, it looked like I couldn't handle it no more. It looked like I couldn't lift it no more. There was this guy, when it looked like I couldn't lift it anymore, he came from where he was, and he helped me lift the weight. In gym class, they call that type of person a spotter. And I understand that in life, when the weight of the world is on my shoulder, when my friends are few, when my own family is against me, and it looks like I can't lift the weight anymore, we got a man who's a spotter, and his name is God. And when it looks like I can't lift it, he come from where he is, and he helped me lift the weight. But you got to understand, brothers and sisters,
Make us understand.
that we can make it through this. I know it don't look like it. It might not feel like it. You know, the hardest part about being a Christian is trying to explain to folks that just don't understand. The hardest part about being a Christian is trying to keep your head up when you got a million reasons why to keep it down. But brothers and sisters, we can make it through this. You know, because one Friday, a man named Jesus went to the cross. And he died for all of our sins. But mother, that ain't how the story is. My pastor, if he was here, he'll roll around his wheelchair and he'll say, "Early Sunday morning, he decided to get up for your sins and mine, so that we can understand that this storm can't bend us, it can't break us, it can't take us, but it can make us stronger."
Right.
But you have to understand
Make us understand.
that we can make it through this. Even though it don't look like it, even though if it don't feel like it, you can make it through this. I'm reminded of this story. I promise I'm done. 2 minutes and you say amen. If I go any longer, just start shouting and jumping and screaming. I know it's time to go. I'm reminded of the story. There was this man going inside the grocery store. He had his baby in his hand.
Well,
The baby was hollering, kicking, crying, and screaming. And the man would say, hold on, Jacob.
well,
Everything's going to be all right after a while.
yeah.
He went inside the store and he went on the aisle. The baby started hollering, kicking, and crying.
Yeah.
The man put his hand in his ear. He said, hold on, Jacob. Everything's going to be all right after a while.
Yeah.
He went down another aisle. There was an old lady behind him.
Yeah.
And she noticed that he couldn't get the baby quiet.
Yeah.
So he would rock the baby,
Yeah.
put his hand in his ear, and say, hold on, Jacob, everything's going to be all right after a while. Then finally he got to the checkout line. The baby started hollering. The baby started kicking. The baby started crying. He put his hand in his ear and said, hold on, Jacob, everything's going to be all right after a while. So then this old lady, she came behind him and said, sir, I seem to notice every aisle you went on that the baby wouldn't do nothing but holler, kick, and scream.
Yeah.
She said, I got a little couple of grandchildren myself. She said, if you don't mind, could I hold Jacob? He looked at her and said,